and they wanted this professional commission to basically look into that evidence and make sure that we were using the best science available in our convictions. And the commission has been in place now for a couple of years, and they've been looking at this. They chose, I think, 3 or 4 cases out of about 3,000 requests that they got, and 2 of those cases just happen to involve arson evidence. One involving a man named Willingham, who was accused of burning his house down, I think around Christmas, and killing his 2 small children who were inside. And the evidence at the trial indicated that Mr. Willingham was not a nice guy by anybody's standard. The Houston Chronicle requested from the governor's office briefing information about that particular case to find out what information the governor knew about a new expert opinion that was generated for the Texas Forensic Science Commission about this. And that expert opinion, the Byers Report it's now called, never made its way to the public officially, because just days before a public hearing was scheduled, the governor ended up replacing 3 members, including the chairman of that commission, because he said their terms had expired and it was time to bring new people. And so he would not release the information about why he did not grant a stay of execution for Mr. Willingham as was requested in the final hours before he was put to death. The governor has continued to refuse to release that information, citing the fact that he calls it attorney-client privilege. And our position at the Freedom of Information Foundation is, why cite attorney-client privilege when this is not a legal issue? The courts have already determined what punishment there should be. This is a political issue. This is a moral issue. And the governor has continued to cite that. He has not released the information, but we keep pushing for it, and we will continue to do that.
One quick question.
I wanted to just mention a historical note. I grew up in the Panhandle of Texas, and I remember when I was a kid reading an article in the Emerald Daily News about radicalism in Texas, and identified the newspaper, the one newspaper that identified was the Texas Observer. So I became very interested in that. When I became a student down here at University of Texas, well, I wanted to get a copy of the Texas Observer to see why they're radical. There was a radical newspaper I knew of around, the Rag, for example, but I looked in the Texas Observer and there was nothing that seemed to be radical about it. They were just a left-leaning paper. Anyway, it's since then I've become a physicist. I've been up in Iowa for about 28 years, and I'm just moving back down to Austin, and it's amazing to see that Texas Observer is still going strong down here.
Thanks, glad to hear it. And by the way, the Observer did a series on the junk science of arson investigations and prosecutions that's just finishing up, actually. And
yeah. Thank you. Let's thank our guest speakers for a wonderful message from both of you. Thank you. Could y'all stick around?
sure.
Absolutely.